All right, well, I can go ahead. A couple of things about this. Larry asked me about 6 weeks ago to do this, and about the same time, I was finishing up a uh, kind of a booklet type thing with the CSPs of the council in it. Most of you are aware that I had a rather large CSP collection. I don't anymore. Uh, about a year ago, my wife and I donated the collection to the council's endowment fund, and Roy Moore is in the process of selling them for the council. But I do have a complete Cape Fear collection, and that's what we're going to be going through tonight. There were no known issues pre to the red and whites. The council did have a type 1 and a type 2 red and white. They were very limited. Like most councils, it was primarily professional staff and probably some jamborees, but I have not been able to confirm that. Right now, we have issued about 70 CSPs. I think that is the actual count. There are a couple of non-official issues, and then this document also has the Jamboree issues at the end of, well, tomorrow or the next day or next week, whenever Larry puts it together. You will have access to this document along with my notes. I will tell you right now that my notes are in a different format than what you're going to see here, because I know a lot of people have asked about just setting aside like NYLT issues or wood badge issues. So the paper document that will accompany this does it in that manner. Okay, these are the first three issues of the council. The first issue, T1, was issued in 1973. It was designed by John Young. A lot of, at least the North Carolina people will know John. John was a DE in Western District at the time. He left the profession, but never left scouting, and has since served as a council president, area president. He's an OA service recipient. He's a Silver Beaver, Silver Antelope, and currently is on the National Accreditation Committee of the BSA for camps. T2 is the same thing, except we added BSA. T3 is a kind of an anomaly. T3 came into existence in about, sometime in probably 1980. Ron Carroll became council executive in late 1979. And he was from the Pineborough Area Council. And if you'll look at this patch and you'll look at a standard Pineborough Area Council, they're very, very close. And so this only became a one loom run or a one order run before we moved on to the S4. I will say, comment was made about I was a longtime scouter. I was the council president when we hired Ron Carroll, so that was 40 some years ago. S4 was the first one to have a lighthouse on it. It is not exactly the lighthouse that appears on the 5 and or 6. They're all kind of variations. As you'll get further in, you're going to find that the lighthouse gets a little bit more defined, and the light is off-centered on the lighthouse on the patch. And that is correct, because the lighthouse is the lighthouse on Bald Head Island. It is offset to the tower. It's a Civil War era lighthouse. And it's still standing, is still not lit, but is accessible to people. The SA5 is a fundraiser, very limited edition. It was never really well advertised, and there were a lot of them that were sold over a long period of time because people didn't know about them. The SA6 has an A and B. It's the only issue with a and a B issue, and the difference is simply in the water. In the 6A, it's very flat water, horizontal. In the 6B, it is there are waves that appear in the water, and they're very easily detected. The S6A is our longest serving CSP. It probably has a value of about 50 cents right now because there are thousands of them out there. The S7 is again a one-run issue, and we went back to the 6, and you'll see several times we go away from and then come back to the 6. SA8 is our first SA issue or TA issue, and it's an early Philmont. Again, when you get the paperwork, you're going to find that the Philmont issues are all listed in one place. The S9 was rejected by the council and is currently listed as an SA issue. There is a picture of it later in the document. The S10 was a one-year issue in 2000, and it was picked up, that design was picked up for the Philmont contingents with the SA 11 and 12 issues. The 12-1 is a variation on the 12. It shows in 2001, and that's the variation. So there were 2 years of Philmont contingents. The Summers canoe base for 13 and 14, again, were very limited issues. You get 28 made on the 14, and they were contingent issues for that summer. Philmont issues in 2003, the 14.1 is a fairly common issue. The 14.2 is very hard to find. It was a contingent, 1 or 2 per contingent members only, and finding them is not easy for people in the council. The S15 was the 25th anniversary of Bowers. Again, I was council executive when we built Bowers. I didn't open it. That opened, the next council executive opened it, or council president opened it about 4 months after my term ended. The surfing dudes on 16 and 17 are again Philmont issues. Philmont issue in 11. Because the S6 ran so long, you're going to find a whole lot of SATA issues before you get back to another regular issue. Again, these are Philmont issues. 23 may be classified really as a troop issue, but the council's the one that authorized it and issued it. And you'll note that the lighthouse, the brown lighthouse, is the true color of the bulkhead light. Again, we're dealing with the SA issues, the Philmont, the first wood badge issue, and another Philmont in 2015. The 25s were camp issues. The green border was just for sale in the camp trading post. The 26 is a unit leader. Thank you. It was a gift from the council to the unit leaders. Normally, as most camps do. We had a luncheon or a steak cookout dinner for the unit leaders, and this patch was part of that. And then you hit the first of our NYLT issues, featuring not only the lighthouse, but a ship, because Wilmington is a major shipping port. And the date is in the beam of the light. The 100th anniversary in 2016, we broke from the S issue or the S6 issue, and this was a 1 year only, sold through the scout shop. And when they were sold out, that was it. They were done. And we moved on to, and I'll pick that up in a second. The SA-29 was given as a table gift at the birthday gala. And the balance of them, there were about 100 left of the silver mylar border, and they were donated to the endowment and sold, and all of them sold out. The SA-16, this is one that's of interest, and one you need to make notes of maybe. The SA-16 or the SA-30 was supposed to be the next regular issue following the 1 year issue. National Supply made an error, and the fleur-de-lis came in silver mylar and not just in yellow. National Supply had already put them in the Fayetteville shop, which is Occoneechee Council, but Fayetteville borders Cape Fear Council. So a lot of our scouters in the western part of the council go up there for scout needs. We found it when we looked at ours, and they immediately got the message out. They were pulled from the Fayetteville shop. There were less than 20 sold by National Supply. The balance, approximately 5 or 6, were kept by the council. Every other one of them was cut in half by the scout executive and yours truly, because his fingers could only catch so much. The S-31 issue was the correct issue, and that is still in use today. So that is now probably our second longest regular issue CSP, following the S6. I'll skip 32, that's an NYLT. 33 was done for the moat in Iceland. We had a contingent go led by one of our professional staff, and the wordage is the Old Norse wordage, and this was again a very limited edition, 100 made. We do provide a check off box on here. I haven't seen one come up recently, but they should be out there. Again, we're looking at NYLTs, Philmont issues, wood badge issues. This really starts where we start doing 2 different wood badge issues. One is, in effect, a regular issue issued to them, and the other one is a fundraising issue. And they normally would come with a certificate which accompanied and gave you the number of the issue. And that's where the yellow as opposed to the red border that you saw on the last one is. The Camp Bowers, Ledges of Camp Bowers, again, was a one sold in the trading post at the camp during that particular summer. The Hurricane Florence issue was a fundraiser for repairing hurricane damage, primarily to our road. Water washed over the top of the dam, did not affect the lake or the dam, but did a lot of damage to the road. The top picture here is an SA-40 issue. This is a less than 20 or roughly 20 were made, and they were given by the Scout Executive to the Executive Committee. The chances of a collector finding one are frankly very slim. The museum does have one in their collection. I do have one, but most of the rest of them are probably in dresser drawers because the executive committee at that time had them. The next two on here are a Philmont on the bottom. The red background, white border is a NYLT. Larry? Thank you. Another NYLT. Again, the two wood badge issues. You had 125 made of the red border, probably 50 of the green border, the fundraiser. It's hard to tell from the Q codes because they didn't really discriminate and give you that information. You're looking at part of a set starting at 46. And this is a wood badge fundraising set done by the Wood Badge Association. What they did was every county of the 8 counties, there are 8 in the set, each county has a different design. For example, the green one at the bottom, the SA-49, is a bridge. Well, that's the bridge, the Widow Moore's Creek Bridge, which is site of a Revolutionary War battle. That's in Pender County. The Columbus County one, the yellow one right above, is the city courthouse. Brunswick County has the Bald Head Light, and you'll note the tower is off to the right and the light is offset on it. Again, these are the other 4, each having a county connection. New Hanover, the pink one, the connection is the Battleship North Carolina, which is berthed here in Wilmington and is a well-attended tourist attraction. The top one's an NYLT, the bottom is wood badge. The center one is a shock to me. The council executive at the end of a board meeting got me up front and made the comment about my historical involvement in the council, as well as my doing the history of the council, and presented me with a CSP. He gave me several. The balance were all sold that night. Board members bought them. And again, they're probably in drawers somewhere, but I don't have any available. The bottom is our first Eagle issue, and that was issued at a Eagle banquet and sold there after the kids got one. The rest of them were sold. And we're in the 22, of course, on the wood badge indicates that we're in 2022 looking at these. Yellow border eagle, same idea. Now, the PA issues. these are fundraising issues, and they refer to a 1916 society, 1916 being the year we were founded. Uh, they are, we don't, we do fundraising, but we don't, we have an FOS or investment in character campaign. We don't give out any trinkets or anything for your donations. These are designed for new donors, and they were kind of, if you were a new donor, you got a gray border, and if your donation was significant, but you were a new donor, you got an orange border. Needless to say, there are some collectors in the council who were a little bit perturbed at this because they're already donors. And so there is some conversation with the Scout executive, but it does continue for last year. We'll see those in a minute. And I assume maybe this year, although the Scout executive is moving on to Rochester and Seneca Waterways Council. I think he leaves or he reports up there March 1. The two border-to-border issues in 23, we had a special trek starting at the Virginia-North Carolina border and either walking or by bike or by canoe, because we used all three, traversed the state and crossed into South Carolina. This was actually a reenactment, so to speak, of a unit out of Whiteville, North Carolina, that walked across the state in the 50s. We did it as a co-ed hike, bike, and canoe event. Well attended. We got very good press coverage across the state. The yellow border 66 and the 67 are again the 1916 Society fundraisers from last year. I haven't seen if there are ones for this year. 68 is the 24, one half of the wood badge issues. 69 is the last picture here of the regular issues, and that's the red border, 130 made. The black border was the fundraiser. I think in the future they'll probably adjust those a little bit. The essay, this is the essay that was originally the S9, and the problem is does not have North Carolina on it. The SUA, it's the silver mylar border of the 2001 Philmont contingent, but it was never ordered by the council. It was never issued by the council. It is I think what happened is the manufacturer figured that, well, we used two colors the last year, that they would just go ahead and do two this year. We turned them down. And if you've got one, it's probably because they sold them outside, or some of them were sold. You probably found it on eBay. These two issues are not issued by Cape Fear Council. They were issued as wood badge issues by either Tuscarora or East Carolina. Tuscarora is the top, East Carolina's issue is the bottom. It's during a period of time when a lot of the wood badge courses involved four councils, and we would rotate the course, and the number would rotate from council to council. We are done with the standard issues. We'll go quickly through the Jamboree issues, so as not to terribly bore you. Our first Jamboree shoulder patch was in 85. So you have the 85, the 89 is the black border in the center, and the 93 is at the bottom. In 97, we issued 2 issues featuring the battleship. The 55 on the ship is the number of the battleship North Carolina. Again, we had 2 issues in 2001, and I think you're going to find 2005 we do. 2010, we went back to just a lighthouse or part of a lighthouse in the ocean. 13, we left the lighthouse, but we put in the Summit Bechtel Reserve logo. In 13, we also did a staff issue. In 17, we got permission to use Dick Tracy. That was a little bit complicated process, as always those are, but we ended up with a free permission for no cost to us. And there were several issues of that. And then we did have the funny one was the Sunday edition, because if you remember the old days, the only cartoon that you had in color was Sunday. And then in 23, we did 2 in a medieval theme for whatever the reason. The kids, that's what they wanted. One other, the World Jamboree issue in 2007 was a contingent issue. There was one for every council in the contingent territory, and they were not council issues. If there are questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I will turn it back to the moderator.
So, Bob, this is Rob Cutts. The reason I asked about the S7 is because the one you had pictured was missing the C.
Yeah, it's a thread break on it.